we're ready.
All right, I'm Hannah Dreelander.
And I'm Nora Freed.
And you're listening to
High Heels and Punchlines Chirp Edition
with a major guest.
This is so huge. I don't have words.
And this is our first time having a guest on Chirp, and I think this is the right first guest to Chirp with us.
100%.
1,000%.
Chirp
away, ladies.
If you can't already tell by the voice, our guest is the famous Kelly Bensimon. She is a total NYC legend. She is a global real estate agent, a model, an author, a mother, and she appeared on the Real Housewives of New York from seasons 2 to 4. She also was the former editor of Elle Accessories. Welcome, Kelly. We love you. How are you?
Hi, girl. Welcome to New York. We've been waiting for you. We've been waiting for you.
Literally.
We've been waiting for you.
We've been waiting for you, Kelly.
I love that.
We are so excited to have you, Kelly. When I think of New York City, I think of Kelly Bensimon. And you just totally encapsulate everything that's chic in New York, right?
Yeah.
Thank you.
New York legend vibes.
Yes.
Appreciate that. That's so nice.
Does she know the other guest that we had on? That's another New York icon?
We actually had Lori Cooper on, Dorinda's real estate agent, as well.
Oh, wow.
Do you know Lori Cooper?
I don't.
Oh, okay. Well, then you should listen to that episode.
Yeah, she's great.
She's another
she's
a cornerstone of New York for us.
I love that. I do not know her, but I love that.
Oh man, that was a trip.
You'll love that episode.
So Kelly, we're just gonna kind of have a fireside chat with you and just ask you a bunch of questions and pick your brain and
great.
Yeah, does that sound good?
Sure.
Cool. Well, first, Kelly, how was your day? How are you? How are you feeling right now?
Oh, that's a nice thing to ask. My day went great. My day's been busy, but it's always a good day. I feel lucky that, every day's a good day.
Awesome. We love to hear that. I have a question about, so let's start off. Should we start off with New York experience or dating life? I feel like maybe
New York experience will ease into dating life.
Yeah, I think that makes sense. So Kelly, yeah, we'll do a little curve. So you've been in New York for decades and have seen the city evolve. How would you describe your relationship with NYC?
I have such a strong affection for New York because I came here when I was 15 years old as a model. So the way that I see New York is a totally different way than a 20-something after college, you're ready to take it on. I see New York as this really wonderful love story. I grew up here, and I've had some of the best memories, the worst memories, the ugliest memories, but they're all mine, and they're mine with New York. So it's just it's a really, really incredible love story with New York.
I love that. Do you have any only in New York stories? This only would happen in New York?
I think that every single day is an only and it happens in New York kind of thing. Listen, I think one thing that people don't really think about when they think about New York is just the accessibility to everything. If you want to go to the deli, if you want to go to the theater, if you want a great restaurant, everything is just within fingertips walking distance away. And I think that's something that's such an anomaly anywhere else. Especially of being a walking city, I think is really incredible. And there's another part of New York that I don't think people recognize is that it's these micro communities. So, right. Soho's one, Little Italy is one, West Village is one, Upper East Side, Lower East Side, Lower East Side, all these different places, So I think that's something else that people don't really see. They're you're downtown. No, it's not downtown and uptown.
Right.
It's, downtown is a microcosm of all these unique, special communities, which is so exciting. And, New York is a very, very, very small town because of all those micro communities. And so I think that people don't see it like that. They think of oh my God, it's overwhelming. There's a subway, there's this, there's that, the people, there's, honking, it's all this. But when you really like, spend a couple of days, you're like, wait a minute. I really like that deli. Wait, I really like that coffee shop. Wait, I really like that apartment building. And you kind of figure out like where you're meant to be at that time in your life.
Do you have like a favorite neighborhood or a favorite little community, like you said, that you like to hang in?
I've lived in Little Italy, just on the outskirts of Soho for over 30 years, and I raised my girls here. And most people are like, "How did you do that?" And why did you do that? Why weren't you on the Upper East Side? So when I first came here as a model, I was on the Upper East Side,
Mm-hmm.
and I lived in this amazing building on 54th Street, and I just never found like a vibe. I mean, granted, I was 15 years old and I really probably wasn't looking for the same vibe that I am now, but I just didn't find anything. And later on, when I was modeling, and it was just being down here was just close proximity to where all the photographers were and where all the studios were. It just made sense, and it was just easy to you go left and you go to New Jersey, and you go right and you go to the Hamptons or you go to the airports. It was just very, very easy and accessible for me. So it just started to become, like what I was saying before, a place that like became my home, because there was everything that I needed was here.
Right.
And that was really important to me. So, that's, when I talk to my clients, I always ask them, like, what are your needs and what are your wants? So, because that's like those are the biggest things in real estate and just in life in general. Like when you guys are looking for a place, you're like, well, I really, really, really want, amenities, and I want all this stuff, but I really need, my deli, my dry cleaners, my proximity to X, Y, and Z, place to put my car, whatever it is that are your your needs. And so it's just interesting to hear what people's needs and wants are. And sometimes the wants supersede the needs, and
Mhm.
sometimes the needs are the ones that take over. So it just depends on what people want. But I do love New York so much, and I do love there's so many different places in New York, and I fortunately, because I work in real estate, I get to see the best of the best in the most unique areas.
Wow.
And so that's like a very, huge luxury when most people never get to go behind the man in the black suit. That man in the black suit all over the city are they're friends of mine, and I get to go and see the most beautiful homes. So I'm really, really lucky.
Could you ever date someone who doesn't like living in New York? Like who wants to leave and move out of the city?
I couldn't date someone that didn't have a strong affection for New York. I mean, listen, like I love being in the Hamptons and I love being in Palm Beach, and there's a lot of places that I love. I mean, I love Aspen, I love Brentwood. I mean, there's a lot of places that I really love. But the New York is such a mainstay to my career, and it's where I really made a big splash in so many ways, whether it's Elle Accessories, whether it's writing American Style for Anna Wintour, whether it's starting my real estate career here with 150 Charles, doing the number one deal, whether it's raising my beautiful girls, whether it's, finding them the best nursery schools, and then, upper schools for them. There's been so many different parts of my life that were really, really important. So I don't think I could ever just like leave. And it's interesting because I have so many friends who are like, "Oh my God, New York looks so different today," and I'm like, "Well, it's the same New York. It just maybe it just looks
Yeah.
different because you're like in like a sunny place, or you're playing tennis every day, and then you come to New York and you're like, wait a minute, this is so different."
Right.
I feel
Yeah,
like New York looks different every 3 years. Like every
that's
3 years,
interesting.
like, there's new stuff that's building. There's a new group of people that have left. A new group of people have landed. Like that's like it's the same New York. It's just every 3 years it's shifted a little bit.
That's an interesting thought, and I actually agree with you. Just because there is like we talked about there at the beginning, just like about all these like micro communities and how areas ebb and flow. So I totally agree with you. I mean, look at even just like 240 Center Street now. There's like Little Paris, and you have
Right.
Maman that's been here. You have the Wine Bar. You have Click. You have Italy. You have all these different great bars. You have Cafe Select. You have La Esquina. You have Spring Street Lounge, Balthazar, St. Ambrose. You have so many things here. So yes, I do agree that there's a lot of change that happens in different parts of New York all the time.
So, on the topic of change, you're
Ooh.
you're always a very popular name in NYC, specifically in the social scene. How has dating changed for you over the years being in New York? Like, have your priorities shifted? Like, do you
You know,
feel like,
I'm not a dater. You know, there's a lot of my friends that are like on these apps and they're like, oh my God, I went up this guy, that guy, blah, 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 blah. I'm like, that's not my vibe. Like,
really?
I will meet someone and I'll be like,
She just said that's Nora.
It
It
is.
is me. It is me.
That's Nora on the app.
that's, I'm like, you're the one. And I've dated so many different guys, all different ages. And I've just been really, really lucky to meet, really, really, smart, interesting guys that, live in New York. And I feel very lucky. Um, it's interesting because, I have this new podcast called I Do Part Two, and everyone is like, how come you're not married? And I say to them over and over again, it's not that I'm not married, it's that I never was in the position to think about myself. I was raising two girls on my own, and I don't think that people really understand the gravity of really raising daughters on your own and wanting the best education. I mean, imagine your mother like just wanting everything for you guys and knowing that you were her number one priority. And
Right.
that's how I raised my girls. And they have been my number one priority. And, again, like I said, I met some very, very nice guys, but, they just weren't, they were the man for right now, but they weren't the man forever. And, it's interesting because now I'm like, oh, he was so nice, or he was so nice, but they just weren't, I just wasn't in a mindset to really be with an actual man and to commit to them.
Mm-hmm.
So unfortunately I, always broke up, relationships, but, I did it for the right reasons. I didn't do it for the wrong.
Yeah. No, that's so real. I grew up with a single mother as well, so I
So,
understand the hustle. It's a lot.
And dating is half the battle because then you get the guy and that's a whole new set of work. So you really have to
right.
be ready for all of the work that comes with a relationship. And when you have obviously bigger priorities, it's like when it's right, it'll happen, but there's no rush, no urgency.
Right.
Yeah, and I'm a very family oriented person. And so whoever was in my life, whether it's Bradley Arian, who did my hair for hundreds of years, who became my best friend, to my assistants, to whoever it is, my friends forever. Like I'm a very I love my friends, and I don't have thousands of them, but I have really, really strong relationships with the friends that I have. And so, that's another thing too, is because I'm like, you're mine. This is what's happening. We're all together, and we're just going to have this amazing, moment. We're just going to enjoy it for however long it lasts. And so I don't have any honest regrets about my dating past. I just feel real, I'm not one, it's like, remember when Adam Levine was like, I think when he was getting married, he was like calling everybody, he was like, hey, sorry, didn't get together, but I'm getting married. I'm like, that's not going to be me. I'm like, everybody that I dated, they know that I have the best, intentions for them. And I always want them to live life to the fullest. So I don't have to make those Adam Levine calls.
That sounds great, honestly. Are you
Yeah.
dating
Remember
anyone
that?
currently?
Would you remember that? Remember that when he was like,
Yeah, I remember
Yeah,
that.
and
It
now
I'd
was-
be
that
like,
well for him because now no one likes him.
well, I mean, who knows about that? But I mean, I was like, that is so weird.
In the the world of social media online,
Yeah.
he's not favored.
he's not doing
Oh,
too
wow.
He's not doing well.
Social media is so wild, right? It's like, whoa. It's so
I
exciting
know
and
it's
fun.
just a bunch of people online decide something, and so it shall be.
It's crazy. Do
I
you?
know, I love it.
Are you? Are
I
you?
love social media and I love chirping back. Sorry, I don't have to interrupt you guys, but that's
Nope.
one of my favorite things to do is people are think that they're feeling so gorgeous when they say something to me. And I'm like, I am a writer. So
Right.
if you think for 1 second that I am not going to, whatever you say, good, bad, or ugly, if I'm not going to chirp back at you in a way that you probably will be like, oh my God, what did I just say? You're probably, I'm definitely going to go after you.
What's
Not, but in a fun way,
Are people mean on your social media?
Oh, they love it. And I'm just like, are you okay? Did you need a nap? Okay, night night, get your baba. Get your baba and a juicy. Talk to me later. I'm like, for real?
Oh my God.
We posted a TikTok that got some hate, and we couldn't. We were floored. We were like, people have nothing. Do they have nothing going on? Let us live.
Oh my God, you have no idea. Like after being on my second season of, when I'm a period down there, people were like, "Oh my God, you think you're so great." I'm like, no, 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 no. I don't think I'm so great. I'm just the adult in the room. So
Well,
like, I am not going to like deal with anybody like mediocrity. If you guys want to like play games, you could enjoy yourself, but like, I'm over here. Like, bye. And so that really was, that got like so much hate. And then, when I said, you're not a chef and not a cook, I mean, but at that time, which you guys, this is so long ago, you guys were so young. But it was like, that's when it was like, I'm the VIP of VIP. I'm like, you're the what? The who? What? What title did you, your self-proclaimed title? I'm like, why don't you just do well and show people how great you are? Why do you have to like show me? Why do you have to like plaster all over the place? Like, just show me how great you are. Feed me, and I'll tell you if you're good or not.
I remember, and so I'm just to clarify, you're referring to Bethany, and I remember you said specifically, I believe you guys were on vacation, is that right? And she was like, I'm a chef, and then you were like, all right, show me. Like, what's
I
going
was
on?
like, are you though? I was
Yeah,
like, because a chef is really someone who owns a restaurant, but the technical term for a chef is someone who owns a restaurant.
right.
Um, but yeah, so I was like, are you the VIP of all VIPs? Like, what is this? Like,
What do you
if Anna Delvey was, if that was, if I like did not was not there and Anna Delvey was there, she'd be like, why are you not the VIP?
It's an amazing impression.
That is amazing.
End face included.
Are you and
Oh,
Bethany still in contact? Like, are there any?
I never had contact with her. I mean, I didn't know her before. She came to a party at my house, but I did not. She was dating a paparazzi photographer guy who was really nice, but I didn't know her, and I didn't know anything about her, and she didn't know anything about me. She called me Kelly Bensimon. I'm like, who's that? I was like, they're like, oh, they're calling you Kelly Bensimon. Is that your name? I'm like, no, my name is Kelly Killoren Bensimon. Like, I have a very long, garbled last name, and if you can't get it right, just call me Kelly. No one calls me Kelly Bensimon. Like I was like, who's that? So she didn't know, but that's not, no, that's all right. That's, she's just trying to like, she was trying to like make a name for herself. And that was her game, is that she loved to like yell and scream on TikTok against Gwyneth Paltrow, or scream at Diet Coke, or whatever it was to try to get eyeballs on her stuff. And, that's just her vibe. It's not mine. I'm like hard work smart, do the right thing, good ethic, amazing aesthetic. Like, that's my vibe. I'm not like scream and yell at people. Like, that's not my vibe.
Yeah, I agree. And I also question, like, are you connected still with any of the housewives, or is it, oh, looks like we just stopped. You're totally fine. Um,
Okay.
Sorry.
are you still connected to any of the
So
housewives,
Luann and I
or,
are very,
oh, I don't know what, no, you're
You're
totally
okay. We just want to
fine.
make sure it's still recording, even though
Okay, yeah, I
sorry.
I
think
think it is, right? Because
no, we're
it's
totally
the
fine.
blinking, right?
Sorry.
Yeah, that's good.
Oh, good.
So the
Sorry.
question was, are you still connected with any of the housewives? And if so, who? And is there anyone I mean, besides Bethany, that you're like, no, 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 thank you?
It's not, and honestly, I want to clarify. It's not that I'm like, no, 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 thank you. It's just that like, she set herself up, she set herself up for failure. And it's like, that's the problem, I think, with what happened to us back then. Today it doesn't happen. Today, when you film Housewives, people are like, do they really know each other? Maybe they don't know each other. Maybe they are like family. So they're like, okay, this is the vibe or whatever. But back then, like, we didn't know each other. So we were like just dumped into the scene. And there was like, my executive producer was like, will you be on the show? Because you're supposed to be on another show with Tim Gunn and we're going to use Veronica Webb. And I was like, fine, sure, I'll try it. Let's see. So I was like, I didn't know.
Hmm.
I didn't know any of these women. And, it was fun to like, get to know Jill Zarin, and Luann and I were in the Hamptons, but, she was very, very social. And I was, I was home with my kids while my husband was traveling everywhere. So we had just such different lives. And it was actually interesting to see like how different women can there is a common denominator between all of us women. Like, you guys are so much younger than I am, but like, we can actually have a conversation because there's a common denominator. There's things that we like, we don't like, whatever, it's New York or whatever it is that we're talking about. And I think that's one that was so interesting. And that's why it was such a powerful, powerful time. But we also didn't have social media at the time too. But now it's just like,
Oh my God, I mean, that's how we started.
if I heard one more person talk about their brand, I'm going to lose my sugar. I'm like, you're what? They're like, my brand. I'm like, you don't have a brand.
It is such a snooze fest.
Such a snooze. I'm like, stop with your brand. There's no brand. Like, why don't you just have fun? And then like,
does it feel good though to be part of the show, the seasons that people are now saying are like watching back as like the best seasons of Housewives ever? Like the current New York, I feel like people are having such a hard time with it that they're like, I just need to watch like OG New York. Those girls were amazing. Like that must feel so good.
I think that's why the Ultimate Girls Trip did so well, because just seeing us all together was so much fun. We just had such a blast, and it's like
Girls Trip.
it was just, I mean, it was the best. And you know what's really fun too is that, you know, everyone was like laughing, and all the producers are like, they're like, Kelly, like they're like, we cannot pay you enough to do what you do. Like, I'll just be sitting there and I'll be drinking some rosé, and then finally someone will say something I don't like. And I'm like, oh, I don't like that. but I'm not the kind of person that's like, let me start off the negative conversation. That's not who I am. You know what I mean? But I definitely, when I don't like something, I'm like, nope. So maybe I am like the chirping police is what I am. That's my role. That's been my role on Housewives, has been I'm like the ultimate chirper. I'm like the mama bear of chirping. I'm like, no, that's not how it's working.
Who do you think is like stirring the pot the most? I feel like Ramona probably, right?
I think that like on Ultimate Girls Trip, she was definitely more mellow. You know, Dorinda's really fun. She really knows, like, I mean, the isms are like, I don't even know like where she gets these, or like what kind of literature she's read that these come out of her head and her mouth. She's brilliant. She's a brilliant wordsmith. And, so it's fun to hang out with her, just because like she'll like spin something really fun, and it's just like, I'm like, oh my God, she makes me laugh so hard. But I'm like, I tell her, I'm like, not while I'm drinking rosé, don't make me laugh, because I like the rosé was like coming out of my nose, and I was like, stop.
How much of it is like, okay, we know reality television is edited, but like, do you feel like anything was like really misconstrued over the years? I know, I mean, what was it, Scary Island, you did a breakdown of like what actually went down, which we watched, and it was awesome, just to kind of give people like more perspective. But like, is there anything like you feel like was edited incorrectly, or like something that is real that we can just be like, that was actually really real, that wasn't even rehearsed, like that was a crazy scene and that just happened?
You know, I think what's interesting, and there's been a lot of different podcasts where people where the OGs or different housewives kind of talk through Housewives. And you know, I think that like I'm probably one of the most like well-known housewives for my antics, but you know, like everything is real. Like if I don't like something, I will tell you straight. Like I have no filter when it comes to telling people what I think and what I don't think, and especially when I'm getting paid a ton of money, I mean, damn straight, I will literally tell you how I feel. And so I don't like when people talk about being edited, or I got a poor edit. Like I don't. If you're gonna say you had a poor edit, you should not be on television. Period. End of story. Like there's just, I mean, you know, there's this other girl that has a Netflix show. She's like, oh my God, I hope they edit it well. I'm like, that's not why you go on television. You go on television to like be the best version of you, good, bad, and ugly, because like that's why the OGs are really, really, really resonate with you guys, is because like I didn't have anything to prove. Like I was already a mom. I was already married. Like I already had this life. And so all I wanted to do was just have a really good time. And if people didn't want to have a good time, I was going to blast them for it and just continue having a really good time.
That's definitely what's.
So I think I hate when people say they had a poor edit. I can't stand it, because it's not fair. It's like, don't be on television if you're going to talk about a poor edit. It's not fair.
When the season of Scary Island did come out, were you like frustrated at all, or were you just like, that's what happened, Bethany was being insane and fuck that, you know?
When Scary Island came out, I was dating this really nice guy, and I actually broke up with him. And I was like, we cannot be together. There's something that's going to be coming out on television, and I do not want any of, what I do for my work to have any impact or effect on your life. So I broke
Oh,
up with him.
wow.
He was really upset, really, really,
Oh,
really upset. I felt really bad.
That's a
Um,
tough decision to make.
yeah,
yeah,
but I
that's
just
really,
was like, but I have done that multiple times when there are situations where I don't feel that the man in my life needs to be exposed to that. There's ways for me to make money, and if it affects another human, I will protect them because that's the right thing to do. A lot of people are like, who cares, exploit them, but I just don't feel that that's the right thing to do, and I wouldn't be able to sleep, and I wouldn't look the way that I do or act the way that I do or be able to transact and do all the things that I do in my life if I were doing things that were harming people in the past, you know?
Yeah.
do your daughters watch the show at all, or
Oh
are they
yeah.
just,
Oh
oh,
yeah. They
really?
loved it. Oh my God. The kids were like, Mom, you should have said that. You should have said that. Blah, 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 blah.
Oh,
I'm like, it's not a should have said. It's like, you're in the moment and you're like, bleh.
Living.
We're just vomiting all over people with your words. And
Do they
that's what's
watch
really
like a
fun.
lot of Housewives? Do they watch like
They
multiple
watch
types of house?
everything.
Oh, they
Housewives,
watch all.
absolutely everything. I mean, there's not a reality show my kids don't watch. Um, but I
Okay.
think that like for Scary Island, I think it was hard because the way that it came together was like I was trying to tell people what happened, and I was always trying to be very genuine with you guys, from
mhm.
like every single interview you've ever seen of me, it's always completely 100% truthful, and I always say that, and I will continue to say that when things happen to people, you have two choices. You can protect people or you can exploit them. And I'm always going to protect people. And I'm always going to be like, shit's getting real and it's time for you to go. And shit was getting real and it was time for us to stop filming. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
that's what I did. And I don't care what anyone thinks. I don't care if the housewives didn't like it. I don't care if Bravo didn't like it. I don't care. I did the right thing for myself, and I did the right thing for the show, and I did the right thing for my castmates, and it was the right thing, and I know it was the right thing. And if it wasn't the right thing, I wouldn't have sat in the reunion and like gotten up and been like whatever. And like right after the reunion, I went to Costa Rica and I painted schools, and
Oh,
I've
wow.
always just like done. I pride myself on being a girl's girl for you guys and for the fans and for being always inherently honest with you. And that's why
Mm-hmm.
you guys like me, because I'm no
Literally.
bullshit.
No, it's true. And I like appreciated that video you did about just kind of breaking down what happened, because it was just like, wait, hold the phone. This is what the real deal is. Let me talk to
Yeah,
you
and you're
straight
always
up.
so straight up that it was like we needed to hear it from you. Did
And
you think it was crazy?
when you see too that like how your personal life affects your professional life, and this is
Right.
something that happens in people's lives all the time. So you don't need reality TV to have that really, that sometimes that to be such a strong impact. And I think that when you see like my kids being very young and not wanting me to be away, which is normal. I mean, imagine you said Laura, you said you have your mom was a single parent.
Totally.
Like imagine your
Yeah.
mom being away. You'd be like, Mom, get home. I miss you. And that's kind of
Totally.
like what was my life was all the time, wherever I was, whether I was modeling, shooting at appearance, filming. My kids were always like, Mommy, come home. Mommy, come home. Mommy, come home. Mommy, come home. Mommy, come home.
That's really hard. I
Mommy, come
feel
home
like
so I can ignore you.
Seriously, we
Come
both be
home
playing.
so I can pretend I don't know you. It's fine. It's fine.
would you ever consider going back on Real Housewives of New York, or any sort
Yes,
of,
I always said yes. I mean, I love Jenna. I think she's such a baller, and I know her from work.
hmm
And I know like Uba, she's such a beautiful model and such a, she's a beautiful, beautiful human. I don't know anybody else. I've never ran into them. I don't really know them, which is also kind of a problem too. I'm like, I don't even know who these people are.
They're supposed to be like New York legends. They're not supposed to be
Never
people
even
that
heard of
just
them.
appear to do the show.
They're
Never heard of
so
any of them, which is not good. Not good. Not good.
No.
And you know what,
And
too? It's like, to be honest with you, like, because when I was on the show, I was in my late 30s, but I had kids and I was divorced and I had a life. And like, I honestly just, I mean, I feel badly for them because I don't want to watch 30 somethings who don't have kids and hadn't had like some major things happen in their life. I really don't want to watch that. And I'm
yeah.
sure you guys don't want to watch that. You guys want to watch like, okay, there's two types of people in New York. There's the
Mhm.
minnows and the sharks. No one wants to watch a minnow. They want to watch the shark.
okay. Absolutely.
That's fair.
Unless it's
I
Working
also
Girl. Do you know what I mean? And like, that's a different
yeah.
show. If it's Working Girl and where everyone is focused on like the beginning stages of our life, then tell us it's Working Girl so we can I want to see like the baller of all ballers make mistakes and do great things. And I want to watch how they, are philanthropic, and I want to watch how they raise kids, and I want to watch how they navigate men, and I want to watch how they navigate like, where they live and how they live, and
Right.
what they wear, and like, I want to like see lifestyle. I don't want to
Right.
see a Zara Blazer on television. Just don't.
Right. Well, the best part of like OG New York and a lot of like OG Housewives series is like they're not just entertaining when they're fighting, they're also entertaining just hanging out, going through their day, talking to their husbands, hanging with their kids. Like everything about them is like glamorous and funny and exciting to watch. And I feel like that's what's missing from this season.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that one thing that is like that's super astute, and I think what the difference is that because everyone is so laser focused on what their brand is, that
Right.
what they're missing out on is really um, just being real, and it's like
Right.
not like, oh my God, this happened to me. It's like, I can watch Miss America on the Miss America. I don't need to watch someone on television tell me how awful their life is and their life is. It's like watching like whose life is worse. Like that's not
Right.
what the show is about. The show is about connectivity and that common denominator, that common thread that brings people together. Like, you have an issue with your child, or you're, having like hardship with your work, or something's happening with you at home, or, you have to move, or, there was a financial crisis, or there was, some momentous occasion that's, created something that's, that you want to talk about and share. And that's what we did. That's what we had. I mean, when I met
Yeah.
you guys on television, I had just gotten divorced. I was fresh off of a divorce from an older man. And I felt like Cinderella, and I was like, I am free. And so I was feeling my best. I was just like, yes. I was like, finally, I'm free.
That's awesome. I love
And
that.
I
Do you?
think that, go ahead.
Oh no, sorry. Go for it.
No, you go ahead.
Oh no, I mean, I think if you had to have like a dream cast right now of RHONY, what would that look like to you? Would
Well,
it
I
have
wish
some of
I
the
wish that
old
Cynthia
cast?
Bailey were in New York, because she, I know that she was in Atlanta, but she's a New Yorker. I mean, we modeled together, so I wish that she were on the cast.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously love Luann. I love Dorinda. Um, who else do I like? It's hard
Ramona?
because I don't really know who.
Ramona? Yes or
I love,
no?
yeah. I mean, I don't know about Ramona, what's going on with her.
Yeah.
But I
What
mean,
about Sonia?
definitely Luann, definitely Sonia, definitely Dorinda, Cynthia Bailey, Jenna, Uba,
Hmm.
and
Oh,
then
that'd be great.
maybe some people that I know, like some people that I know from real life.
Do
I
you?
feel like it's time to be mixing. Like, I feel like next season they need to try something new. Like, bring back the faves, keep the current phase, throw in someone new, and let's try again. Let's try to fix this.
I just, it's like I'm not there filming, so I have no idea like what's going on. And, I just think that from, I, I've just heard a lot of people say we miss you so much, and we just wish that we had like more OGs and more
Right.
Mhm.
Ultimate Girls trips. And I think it's, I think the first season was really, really hard, but then it's just it's just the nature of the beast. Like everyone is just really brand focused, and it's like, really, what is your brand? Like, why do you have to
Yeah.
be a brand? Why can't you just be you? Why do you have to
Do you
sell wine? Why do you have to sell shit? Why can't you just be real and like let it be organic? Do you know what I mean?
right,
Like
right.
I don't get it. I just don't get it. And it
Do
doesn't
you
resonate with
feel
me. And like coming from an editor, like it doesn't make sense at all. I don't it doesn't make
yeah.
sense.
I feel like yeah, I mean I'm curious like what a day in the life of like a housewife looks like in terms of like behind the scenes recording. Like, do you get a call and the producers are like, "Hey, we're thinking about filming and we want you to talk about X, Y, and Z," or like is it just completely just off the cuff, like we're the cameras are there and it's happening?
Well, it's really difficult when you have an actual job. Like, I had a lot of different jobs while I was writing books. I had all these different things while I was filming. So it was very, very difficult to balance everything.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not easy. It's like you wake up my life, I filmed 6 days a week. Don't ask me why, but I was always filming. I filmed 6 days a week, and I was always filming. What am I doing in this scene? I don't even know these people. So I was filming all the. I don't even know what they're talking about. Um, 6 days a week, and it was. We'd start at like hair and makeup would start at like 12, and then I'd have to be somewhere at 3, and then I have to meet someone else at 5, and then we'd have to have like cocktails or something at 7, and then I'd be done by 9. And then I would like, try to go to dinner or something. I saw my kids in the morning. If I could see
Mm-hmm.
them at night or in the afternoon while I was getting ready for stuff, that was great. But it was very, very hard to parent my kids during that time. But I was making a lot of money, and I
Right.
needed to make sure that they had the best life ever, and so I sacrificed that, and I would do it over again. I don't have any regrets for that. But it's a very, very, very unusual schedule, and it's not like you can just like walk out of the gym and film. Do you know what I mean? It's like you can't be like,
Right.
"Hey, I'm Pam Anderson. I'm wearing makeup." Like you just can't. It's just like the H. It's just like it's too high def, and everybody else is like full on hair and makeup, and so you walk in there and you're like fresh faced. You look ridiculous.
So they
Um,
like tell you this is your schedule, you're gonna go to all these different
they
places
give
and
you your
then
schedule, and then you go. Yeah.
wow,
And
that's
then the
crazy.
trips too, you have to prepare for the trips, and then you have to do your interviews. And listen, I'm not going to lie, it's fun. I mean, it's a great, great, great job. It is
'Cause-
so much fun. And that's one thing that I'm just like, that's what it's not resonating, is I'm just like, I don't see the fun. I see like the
Yeah,
fake fighting, and I was like, that's what you guys are just like copying what like my scenes. I'm like, please don't.
I have a question about the trips. So a lot of times on the trips, they'll be like, "This is, Ramona's trip. This is Sonia's trip," or like, they plan this. Do you guys actually
Mhm.
plan the trips, or is that
Yeah.
just like,
They talk
and
about where you want to do, what you want to do, and we figure it out.
oh wow, and then they
Hmm.
just like pay for it and then like fund it and everything?
It depends. It all depends. It's
Yeah,
not always, but it's not always, it's not, I don't like another thing too. Like, I don't like when people are like, it was paid for. It's like, how do you don't know. They don't, and
yeah,
they, you know what, when people say stuff like that, first of all, they don't know. And second of all, they
yeah,
don't know. So
right.
Right.
Do you ever have,
and then by the way, like, it's like, how would you like it if I was like, Nora and Hannah, I'm going to take you to Disney World, and you're going to have the best time ever. But this is
yeah,
what happens. First of all, Mickey Mouse is here, and da 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 da, blah, 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 and then we're going to go to space. We're going to go and do whatever. And you're like, wah, wah, right? Don't you want to just like enjoy what you see and not have people like
And have like a
chatting
fun
up
schedule.
and like all the negativity of the behind the scenes? Like, I don't want to hear about it. And half the time they're wrong.
I
So it's
loved when
like,
you I don't know if you planned this, Kelly, but when you did the photo shoot with like Alex McCord and all the girls, on the beach,
Yeah.
and you were just like, let's do a photo
I
shoot. Like,
did,
did they?
because I want to do something fun. I was like, let's get out of this wild house. Let's go like be at the beach. Like we're in the Caribbean. Let's go get tan and like have some fun. And also, like when you take a photo of somebody, I mean, you guys like taking a photo back then was totally different from taking a photo now. Like you guys are always taking photos of each other and you take great photos and you're like doing outfit of the days and all that stuff, which I love. But back then, you have to remember it was 2009. Like people
Right.
weren't taking photos of each other. If someone took a photo of you, it was like a big deal. Or they had like a camera and you guys were at a party and people were like, let's take funny photos. And people were like doing all that. But to
And
take a photo of something was a very intimate experience. And like I just kind of wanted to be like, and I love taking photos. And, obviously I was a model and obviously, I've worked in fashion all my life and I've worked with the best of the best and I've taken multiple photos myself. And so I was like, you know what, let me just take some photos and just kind of make them feel good, and it's just like, cause it was getting like, it was kind of getting creepy, those scenes. And I was like, we gotta like have some fun here. Like I brought these
Totally.
napkins that said forced family fun. It's like, this is like wild. I'm like, I need some love in here. I need some sex appeal. I need some boobs. We got to have some love. Like it's hot. We need like
I
I
remember
can't.
like what am I? Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, no, no. I'm like, I need to see some like hot, fun stuff. I get bored. I'm like,
Totally. I remember when you were like, "Give me Johan face."
give me
well, just
Johan's
because
face.
that's like sometimes when you like look at somebody and you're just kind of like,
Yeah.
just kind of relax your face. And that was the only way that I could kind of relate to her was to like,
She,
to just
She knew
like
too.
think
interesting.
soft. You have to think soft thoughts.
Right. Are you still in touch with Alex McCord at all, or is that?
I have not seen her in many, many years. No, I don't know much about her, but hope that she and her family are well, obviously.
Yeah. Do you and Andy wise, do you guys have a good relationship or?
He was so cute the other day having me on and just like really being so sweet and so, you know, loving towards the decision that I made about calling off a wedding, 4 days before I was supposed to get married. Like he was just
Yeah.
very, very, very adorable. And I just really appreciate him so much for that. That really meant a lot. Because it's like we've had like our ups and downs and, sometimes he loves me and sometimes he doesn't, and that's just part of being a housewife.
Yeah,
But I was just very, very, I was very taken aback about how loving he was. Really meant a lot to me.
that's sweet.
So
That's nice.
yeah, yeah.
I feel like I'm asking too many questions. Do you want to ask one?
You
I
guys can
mean, I
ask
feel like
anything you want.
we're going through a lot, and we want to be conscious of your time that you said you had to go as well.
Yeah,
But what
what
are you
time is
up
it?
to?
I don't even know because like, what
It's
time is it?
6:55.
Okay,
I guess
all
like
right. Couple more questions, then we have to go.
tell us like what's going on with Kelly now. How can people engage with you? How can they support you? Who are you supporting? Like what's
What do we
the
have to look
deal?
forward to?
What's going on?
So I work in high-end real estate, and I'm licensed in New York, the Hamptons, Florida, California, and I'm working on Texas right now.
Wow.
So that's been just so much fun. Just selling and buying the most beautiful properties in the world has been really, really incredible and very like you know I just love what I do, and I feel very blessed that I get to work with the best of the best all the time. So that's been really amazing for me. Um, in terms of philanthropy, I will continue to work with Food Bank. We've been working on feeding New York. My girls and I for the past 12 years, which has just been such a beautiful blessing. I was just there with them, with the seniors, dancing with them and having so much fun. And they're like,
Oh,
how come you come to the table and say hi? I'm like, I'm not saying hi. I asked you how the food was. They're like, you asked me that twice. I'm like, I'm going to ask you 3 times. Like, I just love them. I love their spirit. I love their kindness. And we always have to be mindful of our seniors, because, we wouldn't be where we are if it weren't for them. So I do, try to spend as much time up there dancing with them, having them yell at me when I'm decorating, food bank, whatever it is, bringing them food that they like, they don't like. I just really appreciate them. And I'm happy to be able to support them. So that's been great for me and for the girls. And just, living in New York and, moving on with my new life, and so proud of my girls, they're your ages, and, to have, a 24 and a 26-year-old, in here in New York City that are just well educated and well raised is such a massive, massive blessing. And I just like, I'm just very, very proud of them, every single day. Even though they sometimes ignore me, but it's fine. Like, I'm just the old lady in the corner, with the checkbook. But you know what? It's like I love them, and I'm very, very proud of them. So that's been great. So that's just all good news. And obviously, you guys see me on TikTok having the best time ever. People are like, "That's just for kids," and I'm like, "You are correct." And I am very immature, and I'm going to do this right now. You know why? Because I can. Um, so just trying to like have a good time with that, and obviously Instagram, cluing everyone into like all the brand partnerships that I work with that are organic. I mean, obviously I was in fashion for a long time, so for me to have my seventh outerwear line just makes a lot of sense. And now I'm working with Quaddy, for my second season. I do these amazing ring boots and loafers, kind of a big loafer wearer. And just, I've been having so much fun working with, Veronica Bai and all the incredible products that I get to work with. And then my new podcast, I do part two with iHeartRadio, has been a game changer. My life has literally flip-flopped, and it's just been so nice for me to be able to, communicate with all of you guys about, next chapters and the good, bad, and the ugly. And if I can be there for you as a voice of reason, like, I will be here all day long. You guys can ask me any questions anytime. Again, like, I chirp back at all my fans, and I just want everyone to know that I am here for you guys. As busy as I am, I always make time for all of you guys, and I will continue to do that.
You really do.
Yeah.
We really appreciate it.
Yeah,
so
we're
much.
so thankful that you're here. We have one last question for you. So this is the Chirp episode, but we also do a Sex and the City rewatch. So we are wondering, because they're obviously New York icons and you're a New York icon, what girl from Sex and the City you think you are or you resonate with.
People say that I'm a lot of Carrie just because I'm, thoughtful, I'm quirky. I have like such like passionate relationships with the men. So I've gotten a lot of her.
That's awesome.
Awesome.
We love it. Well, Kelly, thank you so much for joining us. We absolutely love you.
You guys are the best.
You're the best.
You guys are the best.
Thank
And I wish you so much success. And keep me posted on everything that you guys are doing. And I'm just really, really happy for you, and I appreciate you reaching out.
Oh,
Of course.
thanks, Kelly.
Thank you for being on. You were the best.
We love you.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Wow, that was so amazing. It was so good to have her.
Does it
on
say like that?
I think, I think she's a little frozen on the screen right now.
But that's okay.
What a guest!
What a guest.
What a guest!
What a
She's
guest.
So incredible. We love Kelly.
I can't believe she doesn't know Lori Cooper.
Yeah,
That kind of surprised me.
Yeah, we'll have to talk to Lori about that.
She won't. She'll have something to say about that.
She'll be like, she knows me.
She knows me. I'll call her.
Well, you guys, that was Chirp.
Episode 3.
Episode 3.
Kelly, what's her middle name? She wants us to say it.
Kelly Killoren.
Bensimon.
Edition. Killoren Bensimon. Killoren Bensimon edition. I feel
Rolls
bad
off
because
the tongue.
I like introduced her as Kelly Bensimon. I always refer to her as
and
Kelly
then halfway
Bensimon.
through she said
She was like, "Don't do that." So
But at least she was, imagine if like from the start she was like, cut it out. Like, that's not
she was
how
so
you do-
sweet.
Yeah,
And
she
just,
was
like,
really
chill.
nice. She also looked gorgeous.
Yeah,
her hair
she looked so hot.
I was getting a little obsessed with my hair. I was like, wait, why does her hair look a million times
Yeah,
better
wait,
than mine?
and she's just like sitting on her couch.
And her face shape. When she was
Yeah.
doing this, I was like, she has those natural high cheekbones.
I mean, she was a model. There was
She was
a
a
reason.
model. That doesn't
All right.
happen on accident.
Really doesn't. Well,
Do we have anything else we want to say?
I'm just completely blown away and starstruck right now, so I feel like I have to end this. But
Yeah,
unless
we need
you
to
have-
speak about it.
Yeah. But anyways, thank you so much for listening, you guys. Thank you to Becky Hermenzi, our video editor, and our producer, and
Sean Curley for our intro and outro music, and of course, one last thank you to Kelly for being on the pod.
who's, oh my God, God, I love her so much.
Huge
okay.
pleasure.
All right. I love you, Hannah.
Love you, Nora. Bye.
Bye.